The energy shackles bit deep into Marcus Kane's wrists as he hung suspended in the crystalline interrogation chamber. The three-headed alien commander studied him through compound eyes that gleamed like black diamonds. What they didn't know was that Earth's most feared operative had been waiting his entire career for this moment. The galaxy was about to learn why they called him Reaper. Commander ZYX-9 circled the human specimen with predatory grace, his scaled appendages clicking against the polished floor. The Galactic Council had intercepted this primitive warrior during humanity's first failed attempt at interstellar diplomacy. Now, suspended 20 feet above the surface of Kepler 442b, their maximum security orbital station held what they believed to be just another barbaric human soldier. "Your species amuses us, creature," ZYX-9 hissed through his translator. "You wage war with such primitive weapons, yet you dare venture into our domain." Marcus lifted his head, blood trickling from a split lip. His steel-gray eyes met the commander's gaze without flinching. "Sometimes the hunter becomes the hunted, and today you picked the wrong prey." The interrogation chamber housed representatives from 12 different species, each more terrifying than the last. The Vorthak delegation stood 9 feet tall with razor-sharp mandibles. The crystalline Zirions pulsed with deadly energy. The Shadowwraiths of Umbros whispered death threats in languages that predated Earth's formation. Yet none of them had encountered anything quite like Marcus Kane. "Fear is just pain leaving the body," Marcus reminded himself, drawing on his SEAL training. He'd survived Hell Week, Taliban ambushes, and missions that officially never existed. This was just another Tuesday. "What is your designation, human?" demanded the Zirian representative, its voice crackling like breaking glass. "Staff Sergeant Marcus Kane, United States Navy SEALs, service number." "We care nothing for your primitive military structure," ZYX-9 interrupted. "What do your kind call you in battle?" Marcus smiled, and for the first time since his capture, the alien captors felt something cold settle in their stomachs. "In war, truth is the first casualty, but legends are born in the ashes. They call me Reaper." The name hung in the air like a death sentence. Across the chamber, the Shadowwraiths suddenly went perfectly still. The Vorthak commander's mandibles began clicking in what Marcus recognized as their species' version of nervous laughter. Only the Zirions seemed unimpressed, their crystalline forms continuing to pulse with steady light. ZYX-9's 3 heads exchanged glances. "Reaper means nothing to us, human. Your reputation does not extend beyond your tiny blue world." But Marcus noticed the way the guards had unconsciously stepped back. The way conversations in the observation deck above had suddenly gone quiet. Reputation is earned in drops of blood and measured in the silence that follows. "You might want to check your databases," Marcus suggested quietly. "Cross-reference Reaper with the Titan mining incident." The color drained from ZYX-9's scaled face. His clawed hands moved frantically over a holographic interface. Data streams flowed across multiple screens in languages Marcus couldn't read, but he understood the sudden tension that filled the room. 3 months ago, Marcus had been part of a classified mission to investigate the disappearance of the mining vessel Titan's Hammer near Jupiter's moons. What they'd found was a Galactic Council advanced scout ship conducting illegal surveillance of Earth's military capabilities. The encounter had lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. When it was over, the scout ship was debris, and Marcus Kane had single-handedly prevented an invasion fleet from receiving critical intelligence about humanity's defenses. The difference between a warrior and a killer is that warriors know when to stop. Killers never do. The holographic display showed footage from the scout ship's final moments. Marcus Kane moving through the alien vessel like a force of nature, his combat knife finding vital systems with surgical precision. The video captured the moment he'd looked directly into the ship's main camera before severing the communication array. "Impossible," whispered the Vorthak commander. "One primitive human destroyed a Class 7 reconnaissance vessel." Marcus flexed his wrists against the energy shackles, testing their strength. "Every chain has a weak link. Every cage has a key. Every enemy has a breaking point. Your people made a mistake, he said calmly. You assumed humans fight like you do. With honor. With rules. With limitations. His voice dropped to barely above a whisper. But I'm not most humans. I'm what we create when diplomacy fails and hope dies. I'm what comes after the talking stops. ZYX-9's middle head was frantically communicating with someone off-screen. Marcus caught fragments of the alien language he'd learned during his brief captivity on the scout ship. Words like abort, retreat, and catastrophic miscalculation needed no translation. The shadow wraiths were already beginning to phase out of existence, retreating to whatever dark dimension they called home. The Zerion's pulsing had become erratic, like a heartbeat under stress. Only the Vorthack remained at their posts, but their mandibles were clicking so rapidly it sounded like machine gun fire. Sometimes the best weapon is the one you never have to use. You want to know what makes humans dangerous? Marcus continued, his voice carrying clearly through the chamber's acoustics. It's not our technology. It's not our numbers. It's that we're the only species in the galaxy that looks at impossible odds and says, challenge accepted. The energy shackles suddenly deactivated. Marcus dropped gracefully to the chamber floor, rolling to absorb the impact and coming up in a combat crouch. The guards' weapons were no longer pointed at him. Instead, they were backing toward the exits with the kind of measured retreat that spoke of professional soldiers recognizing a superior predator. ZYX-9's three heads were all focused on Marcus now, but the commander's posture had changed from interrogator to supplicant. The Council wishes to renegotiate our position regarding Earth. Marcus straightened slowly, brushing dust from his torn uniform. Peace through superior firepower isn't just a motto. It's a promise. Smart choice. Here's how this is going to work. You're going to provide me with a ship, a direct course to Earth, and a 36-hour head start before you send any diplomatic messages. In return, I won't paint every council world red until I find the ones responsible for starting this conflict. The Zerion delegate's crystalline form flickered. You would wage war against 12 civilizations. Marcus smiled again, and this time even the shadows seemed to recoil. The graveyards are full of aliens who underestimated human resolve. I wouldn't wage war, he corrected quietly. I'd end one. Within an hour, Marcus was aboard a council diplomatic vessel, its navigation systems locked onto Earth's coordinates. As the stars stretched into lines around him, he activated the ship's communication array. His message to Earth Command was brief, package delivered. Coming home. Reaper out. Behind him, the Galactic Council's orbital station grew smaller until it disappeared among the stars. But Marcus knew they were already spreading the word through their vast network of civilizations. Sometimes the best victory is the one that prevents the next war. Earth would face the galaxy eventually, but it would be on humanity's terms, with humanity's rules. And if anyone had a problem with that arrangement, well, they knew where to find the Reaper. In the end, we're all just stories waiting to be told. Make sure yours is worth remembering. The ship's autopilot engaged as Marcus settled back for the long journey home. Somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, 12 civilizations were learning a lesson that humanity had known since its first tribe picked up weapons to defend their cave. It's not the size of the dog in the fight that matters. It's the size of the fight in the dog. And Marcus Kane, callsign Reaper, had plenty of fight left in him.